Is that your given name, Cecily Snowball, or
it-
is that a nom de plume?
no, that is my actual name.
Great name.
Thanks so much. It definitely breaks tension. It's always good in this
Yeah,
film.
I bet a lot of people tell that. Well, let me be another one.
Are you ready for boarding, guys?
We were born ready. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your captain. I'd like to wish you a nice day and thank you for your trust.
Congratulations to you both on this film. Joseph, this is the first time we've seen you kind of in a big screen film for quite a while. I mean, what was it about this project that initially kind of drew you in?
Yeah, you're right. I took a couple years off acting when I had kids, and I really wanted my first thing back to be a creative challenge. I wanted to not focus on, oh, my career and my blah, blah, blah. I wanted to just focus in on the art of it for myself because I love acting so much. And in 7500, I found a challenge unlike any I'd ever really approached as an actor. I'm telling the truth, I've been doing this a long time, but the way that Patrick shoots his films is rather unconventional. And it's all geared towards the actors being to immerse themselves as fully as possible in the reality of the character and the story. And getting the opportunity to do that was, and I've said it and I'll say it again, it was, I think, the hardest acting I've ever done. The combination of the intense realism with this intense, extreme story it was a brutal experience, but deeply rewarding as an artist. And I think for an audience who wants to watch a challenging film, a full meal of a film, I think it's a rewarding viewing experience as well.
European 162, what's your emergency?
We have 7500.
Open the door!
Absolutely. And Patrick, this is your directorial feature-length film. I mean, what a way to kick off doing these kind of movies. I mean, why did you want to bring this particular story to the big screen?
It's not the obvious choice to make, or like it's more like the difficult choice to make. So, but I was totally invested in the story, and I was totally invested in the idea behind it, and I really wanted to make this film. And you know, I think without the success of the short, they would never get me the opportunity to like just shoot a film in one room, airplane, like all that. So I just took the chance and I just went for it.
And I have to say, the claustrophobia in this film is real. Like watching this, it was completely heart pounding. I couldn't really, it was a stressful watch. I mean, how was it actually like to film? I mean, Josie, you were, in the middle of this cockpit, which looks tiny, but I'm sure was a little bit bigger. What was this actually like to experience filming? I mean, you mentioned it took its toll.
No, it was tiny. It wasn't any bigger than it looked. It was a real cockpit of a real plane. And that feeling of claustrophobia, I think, is actually an important part of what the movie's all about. I think there's a feeling of claustrophobia growing in our whole world as our world gets smaller. We're all more and more connected with each other. And that can be a beautiful, beautiful thing. So many people from so many places, so many backgrounds, so many cultures. But obviously also there are tensions that are arising and we can't go anywhere else. We're all together here on this earth and we have to figure out how to overcome our differences and see each other as whole human beings instead of putting each other in boxes and bringing prejudices. And this film is really a microcosm for that, is a bunch of people all in this one very small space who are bringing prejudices, who are bringing tensions that result from their differences, but eventually have to figure out what they have in common and how they're humans and not just these labels. And so I think that exact feeling of like, there's nowhere else I can go, like that's really, for me, a lot of the central sort of theme of the story.
I can't open the door. Let her go. Please. Please, I beg.
But there's so much kind of technical language. I mean, the whole opening scene is you properly setting up, in this one long shot, actually being able to take off this plane. I mean, how exactly did either of you kind of go into this research? Did you talk to people? I mean, what was the process in that?
I did a fair amount of practice and drilling and was largely relying on the man who's actually in the movie, the actor who plays the captain of the plane. He's not only a great actor, he's a real life pilot. He flew for Lufthansa Airlines for decades, Carlo, great guy. And And it made a huge difference that I didn't have to just ask, you know, some consultant who is, you know, somewhere else on a soundstage. It was really my captain could tell me every little detail, every button I would push, everything I would say, every way I would feel, every sort of part of the pilot's culture. Would you rest your foot on this or wouldn't you? Would this be a right time that you would take your cell phone out? All of those things he knew because he lived it. And that authenticity was an important thing for all of us, I think.